Welcome back. Well, a humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Burkina Faso. Violence and insecurity, exacerbated by long-term food insecurity, have triggered high levels of internal displacement. Now, the United Nations is sounding the alarm, saying humanitarian assistance must be made available immediately.
Burkina Faso borders the countries of Niger and Mali. Militant groups, some linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State, have been carrying out attacks there for years. UN aid officials say a massive humanitarian crisis is brewing.
The country is now facing an unprecedented internal displacement crisis, with more than 100,000 people uprooted from their homes, 70,000 of them in the past 2 months alone.
Reports say armed groups have also burnt schools and killed innocent civilians. In response, the army has stepped up operations across the landlocked West African country since last year. But human rights activists have accused it of carrying out unauthorized killings and arrests that could worsen instability.
So it is intercommunal clashes between communities, and laid over that is this emergence of armed groups, which are fighting each other, fighting government forces and attacking civilians. That has escalated in the second half of last year, and really it took off at the beginning of this year with some very violent clashes in the beginning of January.
Aid agencies estimate that $100 million is needed to help almost 1 million people this year.
Conflict, climate change and the spread of technology are transforming and even erasing African cultures. A book entitled African Twilight documents Africa's rapidly vanishing rituals. Photographers Carol Beckwith and Angela Fisher crossed 44 of Africa's 54 countries over 4 decades. They documented rituals marking milestones such as birth, death, courtship, girls coming of age and the transition of warriors into respected elders.
At the launch of the book in Kenya, models, acrobats and dancers showcased traditional music and textiles.
Our bigger ambition is really to give back something that's unique now, because this record of Africa won't be taken again. It can't be taken again. 40% of it is already lost.
Now the archive, comprising of more than 1 million images, hundreds of artifacts and field diaries and thousands of hours of video, is looking for a home. The photographers want the collaboration to go to an African university or some other venue that will guarantee access to artists, historians and researchers on the continent.
The natural world takes over. You know, in Niger, the desert is advancing at a very fast rate, and it's pushing the nomad population into agricultural areas where they're unwelcome. So they're either being forced to settle or being forced to move into areas that are alien to them, and they're losing their traditions in the struggle for survival.
The photographer's friend, Nige Okundaye, a Nigerian chief and textile artist, is trying to revive the laborious methods of dyeing patterned indigo clothes, a tradition handed down from a great-great-grandmother.
Textile is dying off, and my own is to revive it and see whether one day the government will try to preserve it for us. So the young generation coming will be able to have a story on their textile.
Samburu elders in Kenya worry the remaining customs will vanish as youngsters are immersed in technology and city life. They fear they'll no longer care for time-consuming social ceremonies and the obligations they entail.
All right, let's look at African stories that are major talking points on social media now. Burkina Faso has paid tribute to its favorite son. A statue has been unveiled in honor of former President Thomas Sankara more than 3 decades after he was killed in a coup. The 5-meter bronze statue stands tall in the heart of Ouagadougou. Officials say this monument is their way of solidifying Sankara's place in history. Tensions between Rwanda and Uganda have escalated. Rwanda has closed the border and has stopped Ugandan nationals and cargo trucks entering the country. It accuses Ugandan officials of supporting rebels that want to topple President Paul Kagame. This move by Rwanda could irreparably damage relations between the two countries. And the controversy around Nigeria's presidential elections continue. A tribunal has ordered the electoral body to allow the main opposition to inspect materials used in last month's vote. Atiku Abubakar's People's Democratic Party has accused President Muhammadu Buhari's All Progressive Congress of fraud. Atiku has threatened to go to court to contest Buhari's win. And that was this week's edition of #Africa. Until next time, take care.